What's going on, everybody? It's Kareem Brown here with Angel Park Golf Club, and as you can tell by my shirt, it's Masters Week, a tradition unlike any other. And this week, we're doing something really special. We're giving away around free 4 rounds of golf. Free 4 rounds of golf for Mountain or Palm course. All you have to do is comment below and put the winner and the winning score that you think that's going to be for this week's Masters. So that's really cool we got going on. And also on the show coming up, we got Manu Carag. Manu Carag on the show. It's going to be a good show. Tune in, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Hello, Las Vegas, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Golf at the Park, Angel Park Golf Club's weekly interview show. Want to thank you for liking this video, and please subscribe to our channel. We've doubled, and we want to keep going. Manu knows what's going on. We're going to talk with Manu today about his golf story. I'm really excited about that. And just thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Why don't we start at the beginning? Why don't we start with how you were introduced to golf and who taught you, who introduced you to the game?
Yeah. 2013 was the first time I ever hit a golf ball.
I think we should back up.
Yeah.
My fault. Because your background story, your golf story doesn't start until about 10 years ago. Let's go to your background story because that influences a lot.
Yeah. Well, so I was born and raised in the Philippines. I moved here, I was 19 years old, had no idea what golf was. I see driving ranges back home in the Philippines, but there was very little. The country was more about basketball and boxing.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first saw a golf club here, it was my buddy Kevin. He had these Dunlops, a set of Dunlops.
Dunlops, yeah?
Yeah. So we hit some golf balls. He's like, just try it out. I'm like, all right, cool. I hit the driver, and I was slicing everything, but I didn't know what a slice was that time. But seeing it go in the air, I'm like, this is pretty cool, right? I got addicted to it. And make it short, there was one time I hit a 3-wood off the deck, and I snapped his clubs.
Oh, no.
And I was like, all right, I'm so sorry, man. Like, I didn't know it was like, if it was like an expensive club, because I knew golf was like an expensive sport that time. But that just triggered the flu.
I was going to say, so you said that you were introduced to it 10 years ago, but you didn't really get bit by the bug until a couple of years later.
Yeah, like about 2015, I wanted to start playing. So I started going to Muni, Las Vegas golf club. And I just started playing. I scored really high, just like every other beginner.
You quoted the exact score to me when we were doing our research, so go ahead.
Yep, I shot a 125 on my very first round.
True golf nuts are the only ones who do that.
And I was so embarrassed. I had people waiting behind me. People I was playing with, they were like, man, this guy is slow. And I was like, I'm sorry.
And you were embarrassed.
Yeah, but, that just made me want to be better. I'm an athlete. I played, years of basketball, high school and college. I like winning. I hate to lose, but with golf, it's just different.
Yeah.
With golf, what I realized is you have to put a lot more time and effort and discipline. You got to have the patience for it because it is not just physically hard, but mentally, you have to be very prepared.
You can argue it's more mental than it is physical.
Absolutely, because the moment you snap after a bad shot, your whole round's going to go down.
Yep. So you've got that figured out, and I think you're in a Golfsmith or something, hitting balls in the back. Tell us that story.
Yeah, so I was at Golfsmith, hitting some balls because I was interested about equipment. And then a good friend of mine, Brian, if you're watching this, shout out. B-Dubs. He was my very first golf coach.
So he just came back and saw you hitting balls.
Yeah, let's see what you got. Let's check you out on the camera. And then after that, we clicked. He kind of explained to me what's going on with my swing. And I was like, you know what, let's do it.
And he started you on a practice regimen.
Yeah, so we started. And the very first thing he told me was, grab your gap wedge, put a shaft lean on it, and just hit 50-yard punchers for one entire week.
Just 50-yard
bang, bang, just punch
shots.
it, and
because he wants you to get the idea
of ball compression.
Yeah.
Knowing that you don't have to scoop the shot.
Right.
So he's like, I want you to feel this.
Learn how to hit down on the ball without.
He grabs the head and goes, see this? This is what you want. And I'm like, okay. So I just try to replicate that for one entire week.
And you did it for a week straight, like
For a
Karate
week.
Kid sanding the floor.
Exactly. And then a week later, we go back for another lesson, and guess what? Ball striking's
Now
way
you can
better.
hit the ball.
So I'm like, okay, I kind of get it.
And now you like lessons.
Yeah, and I understand that kind of method because, I played basketball my entire life. And you got to start with the basics. You got to start with the fundamentals.
You played basketball pretty well, right? You played a little college ball?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Where'd you play?
All this in the Philippines.
Wow.
Shout out San Beda Alabang. If if any Filipinos or anyone in the Philippines is watching, what's up?
That's great.
No, but I played competitive. Even back when I was a little kid, I did taekwondo. So growing up, sports was everything to me.
And the Philippines, being so much of your past, also comes into play right about now in golf, too, for you. So why don't you explain what happens out at Muni and the Muni Boys?
Yeah, so Muni Boys.
Why don't you tell us about them?
Yeah, Muni Boys, it's pretty much a group of like the older gentlemen, Filipinos, that run this tournament. They've been out for years.
It's a league that runs year long, right?
Yeah. So pretty much once a month they have these monthly qualifiers, but you have to establish a handicap by playing 5 games with them. These are a lot of old sticks. Like I learned a lot from them.
So it's just older Filipinos that get together and play golf.
Yep.
And so it had to be so comfortable for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much at home. I felt like at home because we were all speaking Tagalog.
Yeah.
All that stuff, but it felt like home. When I was playing, I wasn't the best when I started. Like when I joined the group, I was literally over a 20 handicap. And they started teaching me, little simple tips and tricks.
I love this part of the story where you're just out playing with these guys and they're giving you their knowledge base.
Yeah. So
because even though they're older gentlemen,
Yep.
they're pretty good players at this point.
Yeah, and they've been playing this for their whole lives. So they're like, okay, this kid actually wants to play good. So a good friend of mine, Mike, every time before we play, I was like, Mike, what are we shooting? And he's like, lower than my age, every day. And he's 76 years old.
That's so 76. Great.
And the first time he said that, he shot a 72. I'm like, you're insane.
Mike, shout out Mike.
Mike. But what he does is, like you said, the older gentlemen don't hit long but straight. And there are holes where he's like, watch this. I can't get to the green because obviously I don't hit long. But watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit it short of the green and I'm going to try to hole out. Every single time. That's what he says. The attempts are amazing because literally it's right by the hole.
He can
and he knows his game. And the way he was saying is like, listen, you don't have to make the game as hard as people think. You watch a lot of golf, you see all these pros, spin a wedge like crazy. But these are pros. Keep it simple. It's like grab a 9-iron, chip it, let it roll, and then give yourself a good chance, to make it or at least a good putt for par.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's genius. Like a smaller shot that has the same result, why wouldn't you take it?
It's course management.
Exactly.
It's the lesson that everybody realizes once they learn or start to learn more about. Their game gets dramatically better, faster.
And because of that, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep adding weapons to my bag and then see how it goes from there.
So cool. And you're getting good enough that when we were talking, I asked you what you felt like the first time you broke 80.
Yeah.
And you said, well, go ahead and tell us that.
Yeah,
story.
I mean, first time I broke 80, I don't even remember where and when. It's been a while. But for me, I just gave myself like a nice little fist bump.
I loved that because I thought that you would be more excited and happy, and I loved your answer. Why did you just give a fist bump?
Just because I know there's a longer way to go.
Yeah, you wanted to get a lot further.
Yeah, like I want to be like single handicap, like I was over 10 for the longest time. And I knew that even if I broke par, I'm still like a 15 handicap, say.
Right.
I mean, not break par, but
break 80.
So I'm like, there's still long ways, but it's an achievement I'm happy about, but
And you did a little foreshadowing there, because where have you gotten now?
yeah, I mean, just through the journey, like right now, currently I'm at about 5 handicap.
And you've broken par.
I've broken par once at Rhodes Ranch. I shot a 69.
So great. And you've shot in the 60s. Those are both
Yeah.
two great achievements.
Yeah, it was one of those days. It was just crazy. Like, I couldn't miss a green, couldn't miss a fairway. I didn't really 3-putt, so it worked out very well.
And I asked you if you just fist bumped in, and you said no.
Oh, this one I had to pop a little bottle of champagne at
Yeah.
home. I got home and my wife was like, "Why are we drinking champagne?" It's like, just drink. But
so fun.
breaking par was definitely one of the biggest achievements I've had, other than like probably a hole in one.
Oh, and you've had a hole?
I have
You've had
one.
an ace? Where?
I have one. Desert Pines, I believe it's number 10. Pretty much, it was like 145 yards. I grabbed my 9-iron, hit a really, really pure shot. Nice little baby draw.
Did you see it go in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
It was me and 2 of my buddies, and it hopped once and then just in the cup. And that one, I threw my club in the air.
Yeah.
Like it's like the only thing missing, he goes like this. It jumped up, he caught me. I was like, "Let's go!"
That is so fun.
But
and you ended up winning one of the
Muni Boys
tournaments,
yes, sir.
too.
Yes, sir. 2017. Actually, that year I had a runner-up on a Saturday tournament, and then the Monday tournament was when I won. What's nice about their tournaments, though, it's like a 2-day tournament, where, say, you compete Monday, so it's 2 Mondays. And, obviously, lowest score wins. It so happened that I was putting a lot of work. I had that net on my backyard.
Yeah, tell me about the net.
Every single day. I wake up on my, my PJs, and I would start the day by hitting golf balls. Just so that I tell myself that I don't forget the feel of what a swing is.
So at this point, you're daily in your backyard hitting into this net.
Doesn't matter if it's like 5, 10, an hour. As long as I get some shots in,
Some repetition.
it makes a big difference. And going to the course, honestly, sometimes I even warm up there before I go play. Because I'm on my own place. I'm on my own zone. I just loosen up. I get to the course. I'm not second-guessing my swing anymore. It's just, let's go play, hit a target, and see what we can do. That's
Great. So let's go back a little bit now to, because one of the questions that I asked you in prep was if you followed the tour, but I'm realizing now that because of your background, you didn't necessarily, there was no even reason to follow that or follow particular guys, and you kind of went a different route in your golf watching techniques and content. So let's talk about what you were getting into YouTube a couple years after playing.
So I watched more golf YouTube than anything. I didn't really follow the PGA Tour yet because I didn't really understand the game as much as I do now. Like right now, I'll geek out watching the players. Like the last one was amazing.
Right.
Like Scheffler winning.
Scheffler's so fun.
But I was more into details. Like, how can I learn? So I watched Rick Shields. He had less than 100,000 followers when I started. He was at that golf studio. He was working full time.
And I loved your reason why you liked Shields.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
it sounds better coming from an Englishman.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds so legit. Because, when I watch the highlights of Tiger Woods, you see all these British accent, commentators. I'm like, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
And when I listen to him, I'm like, he got my attention.
And now the journey is, tell us where Rick Shields is now.
Yeah, and now he has about, 2.5 million followers. And then
good.
all these other YouTube channels appeared out of nowhere because of him. I think he really is like the pioneer of YouTube golf.
Yeah.
And now you have good. Even Peter Finch, his best friend, when they were playing those matches, I love watching those matches. Even Me and My Golf.
Yeah.
That's I think that's like one of the few very first, YouTube channels too. And I was just so addicted to having more information.
Yeah, I love this. So you were just trying to soak up like a sponge everything you could about instruction, swing.
Just to understand, the vocabulary of golf. And now come to a point when I'm playing, I know how to talk to myself like self-caddy in a sense, or self-coach, where if I see something's going wrong, I'm just gonna go to the lab, the range, and figure out what it is. But I kind of know how to, find it, and that's by taking videos. I start analyzing my swing. I'm like, okay, I'm just a little too steep, and remembering how all these lessons that I've taken, like this is what I'm supposed to do. So I exaggerate the drill until it gets fixed.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
One of the things that I loved that you told me is that you have a family and you've got a little boy who's 2. And I said, oh, so it's too young to get him on the sticks. And you said...
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my family, wifey, Pauline, and Zenon, that's my son. He's 2 years old. I have a putting green in my backyard. And when the weather's super nice, we play outside. While he plays with all his toys, I start putting. He has this tiny little putter, too. He uses it like it's a wedge.
But he swings around a club at 2 years old.
He swings that putter like it's a wedge just to hit it. And he goes, I did it. And I'm like, that's
so
great.
Fun.
And it's just so nice to see. And then he's like, grabs the ball, puts it by the hole, putts it, and he celebrates. And I'm like, that's all I want to see.
Yeah, if he gets a kick out of your hobby, that's gonna be something timeless for you guys.
And then when he sees, Daddy putt with his putter, he's like, no, my turn.
So tell me about the putter, because this is great too. You have a plan for him.
Yeah, so I have this old, not super old, but an older Scotty model. It's the X7M Futura, and I had it customized. So I had it all blacked out. Shout out GC Studio. He's the guy that did it on
GC
Instagram.
Studio does really cool work with clubs.
Yeah.
So again, another person we should have come on the show.
Mm-hmm. His work is unbelievable. Super, super clean. I had his nickname Z, engraved. And then my name as well. And my plan is once he gets to the point where he likes to really golf, that's going to be the hand-me-down.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut that shaft a little shorter, and hopefully he uses it, and maybe if he starts competing, he uses the same shaft.
How fun.
Putter.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that story so much. Let's talk about, before we get into content, what are some of the things you don't like about golf, or things that you would change about golf? Is there anything?
I would say just accessibility, probably. With the inflation and all of that stuff, it is getting a little bit pricier.
It's expensive.
It is harder for most to get out and play. That's why I'm more of a range rat right now. But also, I wouldn't really change anything, because to me, I'm more of a casual golfer. I am very competitive, but I'm not to a point where I see a lot of bad. I just try to enjoy what's in front of me at the moment.
Yeah, and when we get to where we are now, there's aspects of you that you can tell about that make you so valuable to the community now. But to stay on path with those questions, the easier one is the next follow-up question. What's your favorite thing about golf? What I know it's hard to track down, but what do you love about it?
Just the journey and, what it taught me. Number one, it taught me to be very patient. Being patient in golf made me more patient outside in life. The little things don't bug me. A bad shot will not make me mad or piss me off. I just move on because I know that I have 5 hours. It's the longest sport you can play for one round.
Such good perspective, though.
Like if I have 5 hours and on the second hole I'm already blowing up my mind, like I'm not gonna survive this game. So I had to teach myself to let go. The short-term memory that golfers say.
Yeah.
Secondly, discipline. Just like any athlete, if you want to be an athlete, be an athlete. You want to be a golfer, be a golfer. How do you do that? You got to put time, effort, practice. You got to have a purpose. Like whenever I go to the range, I make sure there's a meaning and a purpose to that session, where I just don't go rapid fire.
So you have a game plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of golfers on the range, when they get this bucket of 90 balls, 30 minutes, gone.
Yeah. Just whack through them.
Yeah, just smack, right?
Which is fine if you're just out there to have fun, but if you're really trying to get any better in practice, that's not any way to, or not the optimal way to do it.
Exactly, and that showed me that, having a purpose for something in specific always is better.
Yeah.
A bucket of 90 balls would take me an hour and a half at least, because I want to make sure every shot counts. I want to make sure that, I'm thinking about the shots like I would be thinking
on the golf course.
On the golf course.
Yeah, and routine.
Exactly.
You're what we call a grinder.
Yeah. And I think that showed me that even outside of golf, like having discipline with work, it makes you more passionate about what you do.
That's a great answer too. Yeah. We haven't gotten that answer. This is going to be fun for me because of your personality, because of your love of golf, and your journey that went from 125 to 69, which is so fun. I've noticed you overlap with so many of these guys. Why don't you tell me about and your content is some of the best content.
Thank you.
It's one of the reasons I've been trying to come up with this idea on how we run contests for content because we have so many people doing fun stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about trying to come up with ways to give prizes or rewards for that. And the quickest thing I thought of with you is I said, for the last week, Manu's been doing all the best stuff, and you happen to be coming out to play Cloud9. And I said, hey, why don't you just come right on the show? And I think that was Sunday. And you said, I could be there Wednesday. And so how did you end up doing content, and how did you end up meeting all these different guys that you know and play with now?
Yeah, I mean, I like to play. And I do a lot of team scrambles, which is like charity events. I like to play for those charities that are very meaningful. Like, if it's a charity that will help children go to school, definitely playing. Take my money. I'll play golf, but at least good. I know I'm helping, somebody, especially the little kids. And then it's networking. Then you meet all these people, great people. You exchange contacts, and then you meet more because of that.
And it's the local golf community.
Exactly.
And the only reason it's getting more aware of how big it is and expansive it is because of social media.
Exactly. And then I meet people from Random Golf Club, Las Vegas chapter.
Shout out JR and Brett Brunel.
Dylan, everybody.
They come up on the show all the time.
You guys are awesome. I met a lot more people because of that group. And I want to help people know about the group as well. That's why I started being more active. And also VGN, the Vegas Golf
Network.
Yeah, shout out to the boys, Matt, Jeremy, Joe. Those are the three main guys that run this tournament, and they're great people. It's like I said, it's just networking.
Yeah,
you just meet them naturally. Like you said, organic.
Yes.
People, some of them will like, oh, I actually watch your content. I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that, And because of that, I feel like I'm connecting more to the golf community.
Yeah.
And the whole target when I start making these videos is to just show people what Vegas golf looks like. Because I feel like there's not too many Vegas golf content out there.
And you play at a lot of different courses.
Yeah, and I feel like Angel Park is the most active out of everybody. And I'm like, why is nobody else?
Yeah, well, we're trying to be, but I do feel like we're on the front edge of something, which is fun. And the reason why is because of all the same people, the same guys. I met Brett a little over a year ago. Brett moved on he moved to Phoenix, so he started Random Golf Club in Phoenix, and he comes up on this show a lot. JR, all of those guys. It's so fun. How do you go about your content? How do you decide what you're going to do? Because I love this answer where you were already filming yourself anyway. So
So I mean, going back, when I do my practice sessions, I've always had a tripod. They told me to always take videos just because it's better to study yourself with the videos. So I'm like, okay, I'll take these videos. And I thought to myself, like, why not turn it into content?
Yeah.
Especially if you're hitting good that day, why not make something out of it? It was actually Big Matt that told me, it's like, dude, you already have cameras all around you. Just do it.
Big Mac keeps coming up on this show too.
Yeah. And I'm used to having cameras in my face in a sense because when I'm a server and I worked at a restaurant where we have tableside service. It's a party place where there's cameras in your face.
Fun, yeah.
Constant.
Filming.
So in a sense, I'm out of that bubble where I'm shy to be in front of a camera. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. JR, this is your fault. I got a mic because of it. And then I tried it out. I'm like, this is pretty cool.
JR also helped me get something for this studio. So he's the, much like Mike is our director guru, JR seems to be the practical component and equipment guru.
So I tried it out. And being on a range, obviously, for the first time, I was kind of shy about it. But I realized, like, I don't have to really talk loud. Little soft voices that I talk to myself when I was in the range, it's crystal clear.
Yeah.
And
those
I'm
microphones
like,
are great.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is so sick. So I'm just gonna keep going. And my idea is it changes, right? You have ideas every day pop in your head. And that day I was like, you know what? Let's do a range session. And I want people to kind of hear how I think about approaching a certain shot. So there's this one video of a 105-yard shot. I was like, all right, well, this is how I approach it. I have two shots. I have a 54 and a 50. I either hit a full 54, put it up in the air, especially if it's like a front pin.
Right.
Or I can knock down a 50, still be aggressive, hit it lower, but no, it's going to check and spin.
Right.
And I just feel like if I can show this to the people,
teach that idea,
then they could probably add this to their game.
It's another tool.
It's another tool because I realized that even the tour pros, most professionals do not hit their wedges full.
Yeah, wedges are such a feel club.
It's more of control than anything because you're an attack range. So if I'm able to hit a straighter shot that's a little bit from mid-flight, why not, right? So I make a video, like 50 seconds worth, just, with the cuts. And I think right now it's trending at like just about 4,000 views, which I think is pretty cool.
It's great. It's great. And it's really a testament to you. It's super impressive that the way your brain works, you're already breaking down all of these thoughts, and then to turn around and say, "Oh, I have the ability to share these." It's so cool. I mean, that's what is the best about all these. We talked about it with Rocky from the Golf Fathers. There's so much different content. Those guys are having a ball, just being themselves and just going out there and kind of giving golf entertainment. And you're doing the same thing, but it's much more instructional based.
Yeah, and
almost.
My goal is not to be an instructor, right? It's just to put out
different ways of thinking about the game.
Yeah, just different sides.
That is
of
an
the game.
Instructor, by the way.
Yeah. So I do the instructor videos, but I also do the fun videos. I put like a stinger video. I put like a super flop one.
Right.
Shot tracers.
You've been working with the shot tracer.
Yeah, play a hole, just different aspects of
fun
the game,
stuff. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. I love all of that. Thank you so much for coming in,
absolutely.
Manu. I really appreciate it. That's going to bring us to the end of the show, or the second part of the show. We call it our Par 5, where we ask the same 5 questions to every guest and see what kind of answers we come up with. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. What's your favorite golf movie?
So a golf movie, I was thinking about this last night. There's a bunch of them.
Sure.
A lot of people would say Happy Gilmore, Tin Cup. I love those movies. But we know about the Full Swing.
Full Swing is the second time it's come up. JR said it was his favorite too.
But
let's go. Oh, it's not Full Swing.
It's not Full Swing. If you're a golf guy, if you go to Netflix, even before Golf Swing, there's another documentary that's called The Short Game.
And who is it? Who did it?
It's the story about the junior golfers. It's a documentary about all these junior golfers from all over the world.
The Short Game
The
on
Short
Netflix.
Game, yes.
I'm watching that tonight. We get so many answers of golf movies I've never heard of. That's great.
So what I love about it is you see the parents caddying their little kids, and these kids are competitive.
Oh,
they're throwing fist
junior
pumps.
golf is crazy.
They're shooting under par. making hole-in-ones, all this stuff. And it just inspired me to just, hopefully one day be on that position with my son. And every time I watch him, like, this is just so sick. Just seeing how competitive these little kids are.
Yeah.
They're crying because they want to win. They're throwing, tantrums because they're playing bad. Because they don't want, the usual. They don't want to listen to their dad. It's that, that kind of time. There's even this one kid from the Philippines.
Oh, how fun. This is called the short game. I want to get this right.
Yeah. This kid, he won almost every tournament in the junior leagues in the Philippines. And then he got invited to go, to America. So happened that there's this one part of the movie where he lost because he got like a 10-stroke penalty.
Ooh.
Being late on your tee time.
Oh, why was he late?
I guess they didn't realize the time, or they weren't used to the adjustment of the time yet. Because, coming from the Philippines. But I just love the passion of it. Like how much even the parents were like devastated. But even so, with the 10-stroke penalty, he still played.
He just went out and grinded it out.
Toughed Obviously, he didn't win. That's a big...
That's
big. 10 strokes is huge.
Right.
But no, showing that, like the parents told him to just keep going. And I'm like, that's what I love.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Question number 2. What's your favorite club in your bag and why?
So this is a little tough. Because you know how everybody has an on and off season with different clubs?
Yeah, let's talk about your set of clubs first, and then we'll get to that answer.
Yeah. My bag is a hybrid.
He's got a hybrid set of clubs.
I have almost every brand you can think of. I have Vokey wedges, a mill grind TaylorMade wedge. I have a SM6 gap wedge, the oldest one I have.
We're looking at them right now. Yeah. They're right behind the camera.
I have the T100S set that was fitted for me. I have a Callaway UW hybrid. I have a Ping 3-wood, a TaylorMade Stealth, and a Scotty Cameron putter.
That is an incredible bag. That is an incredible golf bag.
It came to a point where I didn't really care for the name. What felt best to score better.
You hit the clubs
That's what I need right now. That's what I need. I'm not sponsored by any manufacturer, so I don't need to play their clubs. But as long as it feels good and it can help me play better, it's in my bag.
So how do you pick a favorite?
Well, I would say it's probably the gap wedge, just because that's the reason why he's still in that bag for the longest time. Just because from a distance of about 120 to like 100 yards, I can play with it.
Yeah, you can adjust on
the
fly.
I feel like I set up pretty well with it. I hit a good flight. I hit it straight. And it's probably the most I've scored with. In terms of making birdies from an approach shot, it's probably the gap wedge just giving me more birdies than anything.
That's good. That's why that answer works. Question number 3, what's your dream foursome? So if you could play with any 3 people, alive or dead, and who would you play with, and where would you play?
So this is pretty tough. Number 1 on the list would have to be Jason Day.
Jason Day. Yeah. Good answer. I used to always root for Jason Day.
A lot of people said I look like him.
Oh, yeah, you got a little of that.
I'm like, "What's up, cousin?" No, but the reason being is because I think as of now, he's probably the greatest Filipino golfer to ever play. And I'm very proud that I am Filipino. I actually am trying to get the Filipino golf community a little bit tighter. Hopefully one day I have a chance to, make a nice big group and just, have fun with it. But definitely Jason Day, great swing, great personality.
Yep.
Second, I have to say Rory.
Rory McIlroy.
Probably my favorite swing. My swing doesn't look anywhere close, but just how athletic it is.
And aggressive.
Just the full finish. It looks so pretty. And when he's on, I play draws, and who better than those two, Jason Day and Rory, for the team draw?
Yep. You got one left.
The last one. This is probably the most common answer, but it has to be Tiger Woods.
Yeah. So you're the first one to put together a roster of pros, which is really interesting to me that you never really watched golf until the last few years.
Yeah, just because, he is the GOAT.
The GOAT.
And you got to experience the GOAT.
Yeah.
Just how dominant he was. How much wins he has. Even now, even if he's not really on the winning circle right now, he's still the most intimidating player to be played with.
Yeah, he is golf. He
is golf.
Yeah.
And I want to see how he thinks, how he plays. And obviously if we do play, it's not going to be serious. It's going to be fun, but I want to see those stingers.
That's great.
I think he's probably he has the best stinger in the world.
I don't know the answer to this one. Are you a drinker? What's your aiming fluid on the golf course?
I don't really drink a lot on the course, but if I do, summer has to be beer.
Yep.
Just to get a little refreshment, but I'll probably have 2-3 max.
Mm-hmm.
Winter, I found out that hot cocoa with Jameson actually tastes very well.
Sure, I've had hot cocoa with Jason or with Jameson. It tastes very good.
Yeah, so on a windy Vegas day where it's like 50 below.
Irish coffee
with a hot cocoa.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Question number 5 is the time of the show where we may not be PG rated anymore. Manu was totally clean, so we won't have to put a tag on this episode until right now, because Manu, I don't care what it is. You can say it. When you're on the golf course and your anger gets the best of you, most golfers have one word or phrase that they tend to repeat. Do you have one?
So I do. I mean, so I've been very good with this to where I don't get too hard on myself, but there will always be that day, right?
Right.
I throw an F-bomb.
Yeah.
Like if I'm hitting bad shots, I put it more on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say it?
Sure, say it.
I'm like, what the fuck?
See?
Manu, what the fuck
There's
are you doing?
nothing wrong with saying it that way. That's so incredibly normal. I say that in my day-to-day life about things all the time.
And it's discreet. I don't go like, what the...
Right, of course.
I'm like, fuck, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just pushing myself. I'm like, you've been putting all this work, and then you're hitting it so shitty.
Yep.
And it's just more like self-pressure than
it
anything.
It's self-motivation.
Yeah, just because you're a little disappointed on how you're performing that specific day, because you know that you put time and effort.
Right, yeah.
But that's every other athlete,
Yeah.
But I don't go into like a train of cusses.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like I don't like throwing clubs anymore.
Anymore is a great answer.
Anymore. I would toss my wedge towards the cart. Like fuck this wedge.
Yeah. That's so good.
I've never had a snap a club moment.
Good. I've never broken a club.
I'm not gonna lie. I cannot wait for that day because I feel like every golfer has to have that one moment.
You should. I wrecked a car instead of breaking a club. I didn't do it on purpose, but I wrecked a car because of a bad round of golf. So,
wow.
Yeah.
But, if that day comes, it has to be the perfect moment. There are days where I'm
I like that you're waiting for it
oh
strategically.
yeah. Because, I'm like, it got to be worth it.
You should plan out what club you're going to do it to.
Right now, if it was, it'd probably be the driver. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
So much fun, Manu. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for
really
having
appreciate
me.
it. We'll see you out on the golf course. That's the end of the show. Thank you again. Until next time, hit them straight from your friends at Angel Park. Cheers.
Peace.